When the black caregiver showed up for his first day of work, he poured hot water on his employer's legs just to test if he truly had no sensation. While feeding his patient, he stared so intently at a beautiful secretary walking by that he accidentally shoved food into the patient's eye. He even decided his employer's beard looked terrible and gave him several ridiculous makeovers. Strangely, despite such disrespectful behavior, the employer not only kept him on but offered a salary several times higher than normal. These two men, completely opposite in personality, social status and skin color, would eventually become lifelong friends. The employer, Philippe, was a billionaire who had been left paralyzed from the neck down after a paragliding accident that also claimed his wife's life. Needing a caregiver, he offered generous compensation, attracting a lobby full of applicants eager to showcase their impressive credentials and experience. Among them was one black man who stood out completely. Dressed casually in sneakers and a hoodie, he was actually hoping to get rejected. All he needed was 3 employment rejections to qualify for unemployment benefits. Rather than trying to impress Philippe, he mocked his taste and then criticized his lack of humor. When asked about his qualifications, he shamelessly flirted with the secretary just to speed up the interview and get out of there. Philippe was refreshed by the man's blunt honesty and asked him to return the next day to sign paperwork. This decision would transform both their lives. The black man, Driss, had just served 6 months for robbery. Returning to his overcrowded home in the projects, where 8 siblings shared tiny quarters and even taking a bath alone was impossible, he found his exhausted mother coming home late at night. When she asked where he'd been for the past 6 months, Driss, not wanting to admit he'd been in prison, silently handed her a decorative egg he'd taken from Philippe's mansion. His mother, furious at his evasiveness, kicked him out.
Vis novere to go, Driss spent the night on the streets, shivering in the cold.
Using his last few coins for subway fare, he dozed fitfully on the train until dawn broke. The next morning, Driss headed to Philippe's mansion to collect his rejection letter. Instead, the housekeeper gave him a tour of the luxurious home with its spacious rooms and busy staff. What impressed Driss most was the pristine bathroom, a stark contrast to his home where he couldn't even stretch his legs in the tub. Philippe, who was receiving therapy when Driss arrived, surprised him by offering a 1-month trial period. Impressed by Driss's carefree attitude and humor, Driss, tempted by the perfect bathroom and 2-meter-wide luxury bed, accepted despite his complete lack of caregiving experience. His first day was a disaster. He fell asleep during training, nearly dropped Philippe while transferring him to his wheelchair, and confused foot cream with shampoo during bath time. When the housekeeper handed him white gloves and explained he needed to help Philippe with bowel movements, Driss reached his breaking point, declaring this was his absolute limit. Driss was more Philippe's right-hand man than a proper caregiver. He ogled Philippe's secretary so intensely while feeding him that food ended up in Philippe's eyes. He tested Philippe's paralysis by pouring hot water on his legs and handed him the phone forgetting he couldn't move his arms. When Philippe wanted to attend an art exhibition, Driss, excited to drive the luxury car, decided Philippe needed to rediscover speed and excitement.